You're watching Bravo. This programme contains strong language, like and.
Thailand is a paradise on earth. No wonder nearly 1 million British tourists visit each year.
Okay, give me money!
But amongst the exotic entertainment and excitement, danger lurks. Last year, 288 British tourists were killed, and 92 ended up in prison. To combat Thailand's reputation as a dangerous holiday destination, 500 tourist police volunteers have been drafted in from around the world.
We have problems with foreigners that will get themselves involved in some sort of altercation.
And we have exclusive access to this unique law enforcement unit as they take on drunks, drug users,
It's a class 1 drug called Yaba.
victims of violence, sex tourists, and held travellers who are in big trouble.
Do not resist us.
Coming up in tonight's episode, Cumbrian teenager Misha finds out if she's going to be serving time in a hardcore Thai jail for cannabis possession.
It doesn't seem like you're going to just get off with a fine.
It doesn't seem like that.
No.
Okay.
As the full moon beach party gets into full swing, drunken behaviour leads to a violent assault on a British lad.
They get stoned like this, and they smash his front head.
And we meet Essex boy Sonny on remand in a maximum security Thai prison for alleged ATM fraud.
If you're found guilty eventually, it's the worst case scenario. Maybe 36 years.
Last week, as the full moon party hit its hedonistic high notes, Cumbrian girl Misha's dream holiday turned into a nightmare.
We went to the full moon party and someone gave me some cannabis and then some police just came out of nowhere and then put me in a cell. You're caught with it, whether it's yours or not, and that's it, you're put in prison.
Despite the drugs belonging to her boyfriend Martin, Misha found herself banged up without the money to make bail.
I haven't got that money, I haven't got it.
And in no position to buy her way out of trouble.
Pretty stuck.
Her situation is rapidly seeing her head towards a long stretch inside.
You will be taken to court and you'll be tried, fined and possibly have a jail sentence.
It's the morning following her arrest, and after scraping together enough money from family and friends, Misha has made bail and been released from the police cell. Shaken by her ordeal, she goes with boyfriend Martin to meet tourist police volunteers Linda and Louise.
Hello. You alright?
In the hope that they can shed some light on what will happen next. But as Linda explains, Misha's ordeal at the hands of the Thai justice system is only just beginning.
I'm glad you're okay, however.
Yeah.
There's still a big deal to go through here. It's tough, and we just have to be thinking about it and how serious it really is.
Knowing that whatever happens at Misha's court trial, there will be heavy fines to be paid, Linda and Louise set about finding out how the couple are fixed financially, and it doesn't sound good.
My mum, bless her, she's trying to sort out a different flight for me and some more money so I can live.
Is your mom going to be able to keep sending money?
Yeah, hopefully. I don't know.
You don't contribute? No money?
I haven't known when I got 2,000 baht.
If being broke and facing a prison sentence wasn't bad enough, Martin drops another bombshell on Misha.
And are you going to stay with her?
My visa expired yesterday.
With his paperwork out of date, he may have to leave the country and leave Misha all alone to face the music. All this despite the fact the drugs she was found with belonged to him.
You need to sort that because you're now illegal in the country.
Yeah.
Martin needs to make sorting out his visa a priority if he's to stay on and help Misha through the ordeal he created.
And did the police give you any indication of what would happen to you?
No.
Well, they haven't given you a court date yet?
No. We kept asking them when the court date would be, and they just shrugged their shoulders. And we asked them how we could find out about the court date, and they just shrugged their shoulders. All day they were just trying to get money out of us. They weren't talking about crimes or anything. They were just talking about money. That's all they wanted.
It was just starting to occur to me, like, how much we'd actually have to pay to get out, and that we didn't have the money. We just didn't have it, and there was just no option. Oh my God, I've been arrested in Thailand for drugs. Only, convicted criminals get the fingerprints taken.
It seemed like the more we looked desperate, the more they were willing to play hardball with us, And we just didn't have the money, so it came to the stage where I had to go and ring Misha's mum.
If I'd had the money, I would have given them double to get out.
I'm going to try and look into it and see what's the worst case scenario is, because they have put people in prison for 2 months for one joint. Because they don't take kindly to drugs here. They really don't. We can always ask the prosecutors, we can try and find out whether the cases come before them yet. I think the first thing to do is to ring Kate.
Linda makes the call to her contact at the embassy to try and clarify the situation regarding a court date. Misha waits anxiously, the strain beginning to tell. And it's not good news.
Okay, bye-bye. This is a woman that's handling your case.
Okay.
And she spoke to the police officer in Copenhagen. She's called him, told him that you're in a hurry, that you need to get home, and the police bring the case forward once they test it and see it's marijuana. I don't know how much 3 grams can bring you, but it doesn't seem like you're going to just get off with a fine.
It doesn't seem like that.
No.
Okay.
Misha's now looking at serving time in prison. And the frazzled teenager is totally devastated.
I mean, we can always hope, but I mean, that's the scary part. We'll work for you to do what we can.
Coming up, Misha gets her big day in court and finds out if she's going down for cannabis possession.
I woke up this morning and just thought, oh my God, they're going to put me in prison.
Find out how, as the legendary Full Moon Beach Party gets underway, the hijinks turn to violence, culminating with an assault on a British lad.
Never going to get caught. They're Thai. It's Thailand.
And we meet Sonny from Essex, on remand at a maximum security prison for alleged ATM fraud.
If you're found guilty eventually, it's the worst case scenario. Maybe 36 years.
Shining down upon the paradise island of Koh Phangan is a mighty full moon, which means it must be the night of Thailand's premier beach party. And the coral sands are on fire with thousands of revellers, all looking for the ultimate holiday high.
Full Moon Party 2009! Woo!
The sandy beach, so quiet and idyllic by day, is turned into a disco inferno. And where there's a party, there's bound to be trouble. And soon the merriment begins to descend into mayhem. And it's not long before the inevitable crime spree kicks off. It starts off mildly, with local thieves preying on the drunken tourists, looking for a quick handbag snatch or easy victim to pickpocket. On an average full moon party night, nearly 100 wallets can be expected to be lifted from unwitting hedonists on the beach. But bigger crimes await the cops. As the hijinks turn into violence, fights start breaking out between partygoers, usually over girls. Tonight, the beach party is the beat of tourist volunteers Linda Freudlich and Louise Rawlings.
Always alcohol, the worst drug. Starts getting violent now, the more drunk people are getting, the violence comes out. It's not too bad at the moment, we'll just have to wait and see. But there's been a few fights.
But it's not just the holidaymakers who can get nasty, it's also the locals. Home County's boy Jamie found himself the victim of a vicious mugging and assault. A man hurled a rock at him and robbed him of his wallet and passport. Sporting a nasty head injury, he needs immediate medical attention. Over at the police station, his friends try to explain to the Thai cops what happened.
My friend, he come to full moon party. Thai person come like this, from here, like this, and they go like this, and they take money. He go up to them and he go push like this. They get stoned like this, and they smash from the head. He had blood, and I just come to report. I just tell you what happened, you know. Where are your friend now? In hospital.
Over at the hospital, Jamie's not the only Brit in the wars. This fellow partygoer's also getting stitched up following an assault. Back at the police station, the language barrier is creating its own headaches for the British lads.
Her friend of mine, yeah, hospital.
Where are you from?
He live in England, same.
Okay.
He live in Britain.
I want to know where you're from.
Me.
Your friend?
Your friend England, same me.
It's unfortunate for the Brits that tourist volunteers Linda and Louise are busy elsewhere. In this situation, their expertise in liaising between the tourists and the Thais would have been invaluable.
I talk to police, and they laugh at this to me.
All explanations seem to fall on deaf ears, making the lads despair about the justice system in Thailand.
I came to see the police and they basically did nothing. No, never gonna get caught. They're Thai. It's Thailand.
Despite the general confusion, a local man has been arrested by the police. Spotted behaving suspiciously near the scene of the assault, they believe he may be the criminal in question and want Jamie to identify him. The man is strip-searched and questioned by the cops. They find what may be classed as a dangerous weapon on him, a gadget known as a multi-tool. Fresh from the hospital, Jamie puts a brave face on things.
Safe.
After prompting from the police, when confronted with the suspect, he can't make a positive ID.
You see what the guy for hitting Hazy? No, I don't really know what happened at that point. I couldn't say that was him, sort of thing, but yeah.
But girlfriend Harriet thinks the man is probably the mugger.
Looks pretty guilty there, doesn't he?
Despite being administered a bit of rough justice by the cops, without a positive ID, the man is free to go.
I don't know whether it was him or not. It could have been him, might not have been, I don't know. I'm not going to let him have a life of perish just because I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit concussed, had a few of their little painkillers, and I'm like, yeah, that's definitely him. He's not going to spend a life in prison because of me saying that.
I've got another crime to report. Someone's just stolen my shoes.
As the sun rises over Koh Phangan, it's Cumbrian lass Misha's big day in court. By the end of the day, she will find out if she's going to have to serve time in a hardcore Thai prison or be sent home. And she's understandably nervous about the outcome.
Well, I woke up this morning and just thought, oh my God, they're going to put me in prison. I really wanted to get home somewhere. Before I came here, my entire family were like, oh, you don't want to get caught with drugs. It's foolish because it's just Thailand, isn't it? And cannabis, so I don't want to be put in a cell with a load of other women Not allowed to go to the toilet on my own, not allowed to shower on my own. Sat on the floor, waiting, only listening to people that don't speak English telling you there's nothing they can do, so...
Misha is taken to an interview room. She's accompanied by an English-speaking translator who will guide her through the judicial process.
So, Miss Misha Abigail Dixon, do you admit that you were arrested by the police? Do you admit that you have a drugs on yourself?
Misha pleads guilty to the charges and signs a confession form. With the paperwork out of the way, she is escorted to a holding cell while she waits to be called before the judge for her hearing and sentencing. She can only hope that the judge will take her guilty plea, age and regret at her crime into account.
I'm hoping they're just going to say, right, you've done something wrong, slap on the wrist, pay this money, go home.
Behind bars once again, it's another anxious waiting game for the worried teenager. For Brits like Misha, who get into big trouble when on holiday in Thailand, the more unfortunate ones can expect to prolong their stay in one of the country's maximum security prisons. A fellow Brit who knows just how tough the Thai justice system can be is Essex lad Sonny.
I mean, when I first come in, I thought, like, you know, Thailand prison, you hear a lot about it back home, and I mean, I come here and, I mean, the only thing is just really the room overcrowded, really, in little bits, you know, like, you haven't got music, the TV's all in tight. I mean, apart from that, it's not too bad.
Despite having been on remand for almost 18 months, Sonny remains upbeat about his situation.
You know, we're out all day, not locked up, you know, we've got other foreigners here to talk to and everything else, so it's not too bad.
For Sonny, a vacation ended in a trip to prison, when along with his father he was arrested for allegedly tampering with a cash machine. A charge he denies.
Come here on a holiday with me family. I was planning to stay for a week. You know, I went to get the flight back, so I got bored of it, and then ended up in here. I ended up going out to Patong, and then my dad stopped off at the ATM and ended up using that.
Sonny and his father have now been charged with attempting to fix a cloning device over a cash point machine in order to copy people's credit card details and steal money from their bank accounts.
I didn't know nothing about it, obviously. I was sitting on my motorbike, and then that was it. The police ended up coming and then arrested me for it, really, and I ended up here.
Thailand is currently a hotbed for financial crimes and fraud. With so many tourists on the spend and with money to burn, ATMs can be emptied in a matter of hours. And cash machines are seen as a prime target for crooks. Both Sonny and his dad were arrested on the spot for allegedly perpetrating such a financial crime. They were split up and taken to separate prisons and are now both awaiting trial.
I get letters off him now, maybe 2 a week, maybe a bit more. I'll write letters to him, but I mean, that's the only communication you get in here, really. Letters. You can't make phone calls, nothing like that. Just letters.
Sonny continues to protest his innocence, but his pleas have fallen on deaf ears.
If this was in England, I wouldn't even be here now. I was just sitting there on my motorbike. They didn't find nothing on me, nothing at all. All they found was probably about 1,000 baht.
And his frustrations are compounded by the fact that he's become trapped in a notoriously slow and archaic Thai justice system, which can see people left on remand without trial for years at a time.
Got arrested, went to the police station, and then ended up coming here. I keep going to court, but they keep adjourning it and adjourning it. I've had 2 trial dates set up now, and the police ain't bothered turning up. I've got one set for next month, which should be like the final decision. So I'll go there, I've got to speak police, then my dad, and then maybe about a month later I'll get my hearing, the decision. So I mean, it's hard because I haven't been sentenced yet, you know, so in my mind, in a way I'm thinking I'm going home, and in a way I'm not.
So how long have you done in here now?
1 year, 6 months.
And if you're found guilty eventually, what's the worst case scenario?
The worst? Maybe 36 years.
Coming up, Cumbrian teenager Misha anxiously waits to find out if she'll be doing time for her crime.
Quite worried. I've no idea what to expect.
The British Navy are on shore leave in Phuket. Woo! Tearing up the streets with drunk and rowdy behaviour. And a British football fan fears for his life as he gets lynched by a Thai street mob.
Please don't kill me, please, please. Me scared, so scared.
Okay, nobody's gonna kill you, I'm here.
Phuket is a major port and a stop-off point for the British and US Navy, carrying out operations in the coastal waters of the region. After having been at sea for up to 9 months at a time, surely there's a chance for the crew to hit the bars, clubs and beaches of Phuket. And with so much steam to let off, things sometimes get out of hand. Something police volunteers Kim and Tim know only too well. The duo are recruits from Sweden and Britain respectively. Given that Thailand is a major holiday destination for travellers from all around the world, the Thai cops believe that their volunteers should be recruited from as many different countries as possible.
No, we go into the van and then we take you to the boat. Yeah, the fuck yeah!
It is a paradise island. I mean, Thailand is very calm, it's very peaceful, it's beautiful here. But when you take 500,000 tourists coming in here, everybody's getting drunk and out to having a good time, there will be some accidents happen.
Drunk and rowdy behaviour can be seen as highly disrespectful to the Thai people.
Where are you from? England, okay.
And is the cause of much conflict and tension between tourists and the locals.
If you have a good attitude and you're friendly and respectful to people, you'll get on fine. A beer is still £1 upwards, maybe £2 in an aircon bar. But it's mainly just you get drunk on the atmosphere.
So you need to wake up. You know you can't sit here and sleep, okay? In Thailand, when you do fall asleep in a bar because you're so drunk, you're not capable of taking care of yourself. Either you wake up, continue having fun, or the police are gonna put you in jail.
The streets of Thailand are not a place for vulnerable, drunk, single women to be wandering around alone. There's danger waiting at every turn.
We try and get her back to a hotel. I'd always have reservations about putting a lady on her own in a tuk-tuk to go that much far out of town. It's at least a 30-minute ride on some very quiet roads. There have been occasions in the past where it's turned nasty.
That's a good part. You won't remember this tomorrow.
We really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Take a nap.
To keep them in check, working alongside the local cops, is a division of the Naval Police. Officers normally based on board the ship who work the shore whenever any of their sailors are out on the town on dry land. Today, the British Navy destroyer HMS Bulwark is in port, and with hundreds of British sailors desperate to unwind, it's up to Naval Police officers Matt and Tim to hit the streets and make sure their charges don't get into too much trouble.
It's got everything young men want. It's got booze, it's got girls, it's got sand.
Phuket is the place to be. 2009. Easy.
They're loving every minute, yeah. Loving every minute. Obviously they're here for the women. Putting it blunt, the amount of force. I've already said, the cheap ale.
It's excessive drinking that causes nearly all of the bad behaviour amongst the Navy lads.
On the streets, you're looking at basically drunk people, public order offences, the occasional scrap. The ladyboys do a lot of pickpocketing.
Ladyboys in Thailand have a notorious reputation for targeting visiting sailors on shore leave. Stories of men being lured back to a hotel room, drugged, and then robbed are common.
The problem we've got in the early hours are the ladyboys. They don't tend to drink much, but they tend to prey on vulnerable men in the early hours.
As Tim and Matt patrol the streets looking for sailors getting the worse for wear, they are greeted by an outbreak of violence between a ladyboy and a tourist. Eagle-eyed Tim spots a ladyboy launching a vicious attack on a man, using a broken beer bottle as a weapon. The tourist had a lucky escape, as the ladyboy looks on shamelessly, indifferent to the fact he's about to be arrested by police for attempted assault.
All we saw is a female attacking a male with a bottle, trying to smash the bottle over his head. We have no jurisdiction over the locals, so I'm going to go and inform the Thai police, and they can do with that female as they wish.
The city's a little safer with the violent bottle-smashing ladyboy now banged up at the local police station. It's been a typically rough and rowdy night for the cops on the streets of Phuket, and over on the other side of Thailand, things are no quieter. It's Friday night in the anything-goes city of Pattaya, and British tourist police assistant Howard is on the lookout for trouble again on Walking Street.
Well, it's now approaching what I call prime time, where we have potential to have some problems with foreigners that have drunk a lot and are possibly up for a fight, possibly will get themselves involved in some sort of altercation. So at this time of night we're on sort of high alert, and we're ready for anything really.
It's almost midnight, and volunteer Noi is called to an incident involving a drunken British tourist who has urinated over a taxi driver's bonnet. Incensed by his actions, some Thai locals have made a citizen's arrest.
Wait, don't touch me, please. They're going to hurt me, I know that.
No, nobody's going to hurt
you. Please.
Yeah, you just sit down, don't move.
Yeah, of course.
If you not move, I'm going to put the handcuff on you, understand? You understand? You see? So you need to be calm down and take it easy and listen to me. Okay, nobody's going to kill you, I'm here.
A lack of respect for Thai people can lead to major problems. The Thai people respect their monarchy, they respect their flag, and they respect each other as well. And if you're seen to disrespect a Thai, other Thais will come and protect their own, basically, which can lead to problems, major problems as well.
Okay.
For what? For what? For what?
Swearing is considered to be more offensive in Thai culture than back home in the UK. Despite his pleas, he's escorted away into custody.
The driver, Tinai.
Howard, meanwhile, tries to get the facts of the incident.
What? Oh, he pissed on the... Okay.
It's about only about 2,000-3,000 baht.
Why? What he's saying is basically the guy was angry after these guys caught him urinating up the car, and then he punched the front bonnet of the BART bus, the taxi. There is a clear dent in the car.
Criminal damage and public misconduct could lead to a maximum 9-year prison sentence in one of the country's infamous prisons.
It's no problem.
Don't worry. Okay. Do you have any friends? They can call them. You have mobile phone?
No, I have no friends, yeah.
Okay.
Wait, me so well, I promise I'm a good boy.
Okay. No, do I need... Oh, okay. You're right.
Please don't arrest me, please.
Okay.
Please. I respect Thailand. It's okay, I respect Thailand.
For Howard, it's an all too common sight. A drunken Brit offending local sensibilities.
You can actually see the problem we have sometimes is they shout, oh, England, 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 no good.
I done nothing fucking wrong. Wait, it weren't me, I done nothing wrong. Please tell me. Please, I'm so sorry.
Did you urinate up the front of the car?
No, I promise you. 100%.
Team leader Paul Harrison is called to assist.
Back one,
Listen, sir, we're not on your side and we're not on their side. We have to be in the middle, okay? But you're showing me signs that you've been taking drugs, so be careful what you're saying, okay? Just don't say any more, right?
If the man apologises and makes some form of compensation to the taxi driver, according to local customs, the situation will be resolved and he will get away with a caution.
Can I speak? Now, what the guy has said to me, I'm just going to tell you this, all right? He's given me a figure. Hang on. 3,000 baht for damage.
I'm so happy. No, wait, I ain't going to pay no damage.
You're not prepared to pay?
Not at all.
The British tourist doesn't understand the severity of the crime and that he could be facing a night in the cells, a fine and even a prison sentence.
Do you want to be locked up for the night to being drunk?
No.
Well, I'll tell you what will happen. If you get locked up for the night, you'll pay that in the court fines anyway. So just pay it now and then finish it. Right, give us 2,000 baht and then it's finished, okay?
Well, this country is such a lovely country, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Well, you should get drunk.
No.
We had two options. After finding out that the English guy had no witnesses, I said to him, look, you can either be locked up for what you did, for causing a public nuisance, or we can come to some sort of financial arrangement to try and clear the damage of the car and then it's finished and you can walk away. We agreed a price of 2,000 baht, which is about £30, which was enough to clear the damage, what I thought was a fair amount. The English guy agreed to pay it, and that was it, finished. He avoided going to jail, which is nice.
After waiting through the night at the courthouse, as day breaks, an exhausted Misha is finally summoned for her sentencing for cannabis possession. And understandably, she is filled with apprehension about what may happen to her.
Quite worried, simply for the reasons that it won't be English. I won't really understand what's going on. I don't really understand what's going on at the moment. I have no experience in the legal system whatsoever, so I have no idea what to expect.
The bailiff escorts her inside. She will now find herself standing before the judge. The next 20 minutes spent pleading her case will define Misha's future. She knows she could be looking at up to a year in prison. Or be given her ticket to freedom. The wait is over. Misha finally has a verdict.
Relieved. Very relieved. Quite happy, yeah.
And it's good news.
I was sentenced for 1 year imprisonment, but because I was so young, it was a month, and then because it was my first offence, a fine and a year probation. Which is very good.
Manchester Airport. And Misha is finally returning home after her ordeal in Thailand. Mum Abby and brothers Charles and Theo are waiting for her arrival. It's been an anxious time for the family.
It's been the longest 4 weeks of my life. I used to put the phone down every
morning. I was ringing her at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I just used to put the phone down and cry. It was horrible. But just can't wait to see her.
I've just been convinced the last month that I might be going to prison. My mum kept saying, expect the worst, and then you'll be happy when it's not that bad.
It has been awful. We've been in like tears, worried sick, just looking on the internet for things about Thai prisons. I've heard stories, and it was just... But I knew she'd be strong, I knew she'd be able to get through things on her own.
And as for boyfriend Martin, Mum Abby doesn't blame him for Misha's ordeal.
I don't blame Martin at all.
And Misha will be reunited with him later in the evening.
Relieved. I'm quite happy to be home.
It's a happy family reunion that could have ended so differently. The dream holiday that became a nightmare is all behind her now. Coming up, a pair of soldiers of fortune on leave from Iraq go on the warpath from the streets of Pattaya.
You see this out?
It has the makings of another fast and furious night over in Pattaya, and tourist volunteer Noi is on the walking street beat. She's received an urgent call to attend a violent bar brawl. A fight has broken out involving two mercenaries from the Iraq War. One from Newcastle and his American friend. One of the mercenaries is nursing a neck wound after being hit with a beer bottle. Its label still stuck to his head.
What happened, Matt?
It's team leader Paul Harrison's job to lead the investigation.
He's got in the bar, punched him like that. Right. So he punched him back.
I was joking around, I was on the stage, and he got real angry at me. He was like, don't stay on the stage.
You have good time now, really good time.
I got off, blah, blah. He punched me, I punched him back. So he hit me in the back of the head. I looked back, and there was a guy in a green shirt. I ran after him, and that was it.
What we'll do, right? We'll get the other guy involved, okay? Have his side of the story, and then we'll take it from there, okay?
You see this head? Look at that, look at that. Look at that.
The mercenary receives medical treatment, whilst witnesses are rounded up from the go-go bar, including another man allegedly involved in the fight.
Here's the guy. They walked into the bar, groping girls and all that. The manager walked up and said, "Hey, we need you to stop. Harassing our girls. Get off the stage. Yeah. Let the girls be." And then they pushed him, punched him on the floor. I came over there to try and break him up. Punched me in the stomach, pushed me to the floor.
Why did you hit him with a bottle?
Started kicking everybody. What's that?
Why did you hit him with a bottle?
I didn't hit anybody with a bottle.
Well, he said you did. The guy with the green shirt, and that's the green shirt.
I have no idea.
Did you hit him with a bottle? I got to know that. That's all.
No, I didn't hit anybody. I got hit and fell to the floor.
If you can be a witness now, we'll arrest him and take him to the police station.
And be a witness, and I got to come down and do what?
Be a witness. Tell him what happened.
I just told you what happened.
No, you have to go to the police station and
investigate. Well, you already investigated. Okay, whatever. Just let him go.
Nobody wants to testify. What we're going to do?
It's a no-win situation, man.
With no one, including the bar's manager, willing to press charges, the Thai police simply take everyone's details and let the matter drop. But tempers are still raging.
Right, you go. That's what I'm saying. You go. He's a liar.
I work Iraq. Boom. Alibaba. All right. I come here for holiday. I get blown up by fucking Muslim in Iraq. I come to Thailand, drink beer. Man hit me in the head. Okay.
Nobody wanted to come forward, and so therefore no charges will be made.
So just who was telling the truth? CCTV footage from the bar shows the mercenary with the neck wound cavorting on the stage. Another customer goes over to have a word, and an argument ensues. The other mercenary intervenes and delivers a knockout blow. Watch again. The man in the green shirt who protested his innocence runs over from the left, wielding a bottle.
I came over there to try and break him up, punched me in the stomach, pushed me to the floor,
Why did you
and
hit him
started
with a
kicking
bottle?
everybody. What's that?
Why did you hit him with a bottle?
I didn't hit anybody with a bottle. I didn't hit anybody with a bottle.
Paul's policeman's instincts have proven to be right.
We get this a lot of time because those were big guys. Nobody wants to testify against them for fear of retaliation. Normally we'd be charged with causing an affray and fighting in public. But because nobody wants to come forward as witnesses, we've got no witnesses, so we've just had to let them go, which is unfortunate.
Coming up next time, we meet the expat from Lewisham, who is facing the death penalty in Thailand for drug possession.
Think of yourself going into a courtroom and saying, you know, I sentence you to death.
A Kosovan man high on drugs makes the big mistake of deciding to steal from the police.
In 7 years of doing this, I've never met anyone that's done that before.
And finally, we meet Kun Pat, the Bangkok ladyboy, who offers visitors to Thailand something a little more exotic.
They know what men like, what men want. They know how to make men happy.